Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this Monday edition live from the heart of somewhere sunny and fun in the beautiful world that we live in. Thanks for tuning in to Born to Be a Star. Today is another day and another opportunity for you to recognize your star power, to reflect on where you've been, where you're going on your stardom journey, to start off the day by looking in the mirror and loving the reflection that you see. And it was a Monday, wasn't it? I feel like Sundays is worse than Mondays because on Sunday, the next day is Monday. So it's like treacherous. But we got through it. Hopefully, we can get through the next couple of days and get back to the weekend too. Anyways, today is another day and another opportunity for us to recognize our star power. For us to look in the mirror and say, yes, we can have a great day. Yes, we can try something new. Yes, we can be the best versions of ourselves. We can learn how to knit, sew, crochet, and sing or dance or get better at a video game. Yes, we can decide that we want to go to an airport and get on a random plane. You can decide that you want to learn more about, something like mahjong or chess, or maybe you want to get into cards and you want to get better at playing poker. Yes, you can decide that you want to move. You can also decide that you want to stop spending all your money on your bucket and you want to buy a newer car. You can also decide that you want to change your favorite color or change your hairstyle, or decide you don't want to shop at stores anymore and you want to buy everything online. You can decide that you want to get grocery delivery because you don't want to go in the grocery store. You can decide that you want to like blue more than you like pink. And you can decide that you like cold versus warm or warm versus cold. The idea of yes, you can is that you can do anything you put your mind to. And following the idea of yes, you can is the idea of never giving up. We all know life is difficult and bad things happen to good people, but we don't let that stop us or prevent us from doing what we're supposed to be doing. Instead, we let that motivate us to get everything done. If bad things are going to happen to good people, we have to learn how to persevere through difficulty, how to become the light in the darkness and continuously be the light in that darkness. Because the darkness is constantly trying to hunt us and make our lives hell. So let's find a way to live among the darkness and trick it into believing that we're not real so we can consume it entirely and make everything a light. That is the idea of never giving up. Something might not go the way you want it to. Something bad can happen. Things might not work out the way you expected them to. And your dream might not be happening the way you thought it was going to. But whatever the case may be, whatever the situation is, every day is an opportunity to start the day by saying to yourself, yes, you can. And following the idea of yes, you can is the idea of never giving up. So when something makes you feel like you don't know how you're going to get through it, the doctor said something, that interview didn't go the way you wanted it to, you decided you hated that class. It could be something big or small. You didn't have a great experience when you went bowling, or something didn't turn out the way you thought it was going to. If we don't remember the actual saying and belief of the never giving up, how are we going to get through it? There are doctors and nurses and EMTs and firefighters and police officers and people that sacrifice. Army Reserve, National Guard, Marines, the Air Force, the Navy, the National Guard. These people sacrifice everything to protect us. And that makes things difficult, right? It really doesn't, though. If we fight together, then we shouldn't fight apart. That is the idea of never giving up, is learning how to fight together through the difficulty to get to the good. That is the idea of never giving up. Following the idea of never giving up is the idea of why not today, because procrastination and indecisiveness are not friends. If you take too long to make a decision, it's most certainly going to come bite you in the ass. If you don't get something done today and you're steadily waiting for tomorrow, what happens when tomorrow doesn't happen? We cannot wait to live. That's not how life works. And people that do it often end up unhappy and miserable and upset and angry and jealous and envious and just upset. Do we want to be that person? Do we want to never get anything done? Do we always want to be waiting? Is waiting the correct thing to do? Not making decisions, is that smart? Thinking we have time we can't buy, isn't that idiotic? We cannot stop time, we can't control it, and we can't buy it. We don't have enough money to afford it. So we have to find a way to live with it. The moment you're born, you're dying. And it's important for us to recognize that. Why? Because when you recognize the moment you're born, you're dying, then you know you're not going to live forever. That is the idea of why not today. Don't put off today for tomorrow and get things done with the time you have before you can't do anything. Because if you do not do that, you're going to be sad. Because life is difficult enough, but prolonging shit and thinking you can push things off and put your life on a back burner means you're purposely going out of your way not to do stuff. And that's almost certainly going to backfire in every way for yourself. So get things done and plan accordingly. That's the only way we do this. 5 to 10 steps ahead, organization, setting up appointments before they come, knowing when things are due, contacting people before things happen, not waiting off for today for tomorrow, but planning accordingly. That is the idea of why not today. Following the idea of why not today, we get to the idea of the tea. It's Monday. Let's have green tea, and let's have it iced. Lots of green. Sipping the tea, sipping the tea, sipping the tea for you and me, sipping the tea. So, what do you want to talk about on this Monday tea talk? I have a random observation that I'm starting to recognize, and tell me if you guys agree with me. Why is everybody trying to come out with a podcast or a show or something to separate themselves, and they feel like they're being the voice of the people? Shouldn't people have their own voice? It's almost strange to me that lots of random ass people, mostly celebrities and people that are desperate for attention, come out and look for a mass of followers to give them what? Momentum and energy? If you can't give that to yourself and you're desperately seeking that from someone else who might not really give you 5 seconds of time, then I'm not sure you're on the right side of this. People should be creating podcasts because they're trying to save the world, not just because they just want to be a part of the fold and they want an easy way to have a viral video and an easy way to become famous. There shouldn't be an easy way to become famous. You should have to have an actual talent. We've had this conversation before, but I can't help feeling like everybody is trying to copy off of each other, and that shit really irritates me. I go out of my way to try to be as unique as I can because I don't want to be like everybody else, because everybody else wants to be the fucking same, and I don't want to be the same. I do want to be different. I am tired of everyone acquiescing to some false equivalency of fake. It does piss me off. Why can't people find their own way? Why can't you pick your own topics to discuss? Why can't you create your own dialogue? And why do you have to copy and go along with the circus? Why can't women and girls decide they want to reject this fake celebrity culture that wants you to just gauge your face with makeup so you look like a fucking clown? And why can't people tell the truth? I'm often reminded of the movie The Matrix with Neo as the main character. You know, the realization that everything you're seeing is just a con. And when I think about that in context to reality now, I'm really left wondering, is this a con? Kids can't read at grade levels. People are not that bright. People have a tendency to want to follow others because they're scared to be who they are. They're scared to be themselves. They're like incapable of not being a part of something. And I'm not saying you have to be solo and you have to be alone, but I am questioning, do half the people that say they want to like start a podcast or do something similar to that, do they actually want to do it? Or are they only doing it for the moment because they want clickbait and they want to be popular for a moment? And then once they're popular for a moment, the dialogue dies down and the actual presence that they created disappears. And the actual momentum that they started isn't real. How do we fall victim to this? I'm very careful about what podcasts I listen to. I'm very careful about who I follow or what brands I wear or the things that I do. I mostly keep it simple, right? I know what I like. I know what I like to smell like. I know the products I like to use. I understand my hair, the texture of it, the way I want to keep it. I've been dreading getting rid of my wardrobe and starting again, but every time I get a chance, even while I'm at work, granted I work from home most of the time, I start throwing shit out and I'm just getting rid of everything I know I don't want, that I know I'm not going to wear, and I'm not thinking about it. Every day for me is an opportunity for me to become more of what I want to be instead of what I once was. I'm starting to recognize I cannot hold on to the past, and I shouldn't want to. So I'm going to focus on trying to capture the present before it's over. Isn't that the idea of life? My question is, are people only doing things, pretending like they're fulfilling themselves, when in honesty, they don't even know what they really want? They're lying. That's my question. Why are people lying? Why are the celebrities so desperate? It's such a turnoff, and it's just embarrassing. And it makes me happy that I'm always original. And I hope that you listening will join me in that originality, that uniqueness, and that realness. Because the world is full of pretenders and sheep and people who do not want to separate themselves from the cold. They just want to be a part of it. And they don't want to recognize that maybe they cannot be to actually live. You got to pick a side here. Do you want to be an original? Or do you want to be a robot? Do you want to just go along because they did? Or do you want to question it because you're not so certain it's for you? That's the tea of this Monday. I'm never going to be a person that's going to go along and follow, because I was born a leader. I was born with a voice, and I have fought hard to retain it. There's been many times people have doubted me, judged me, criticized me, and told me to my face what I wasn't and who I couldn't be. Said names and used cruelty trying to bring me down, tell me all the ways I wouldn't succeed. And I laugh and I smirk. And I found joy in that hatred that they provided me, because that just told me how much they really were fake. And it just led me to understand how much I have and what they don't. It's important that we allow life not to take away our moments like that. Because if we do, we're going to regret it later. And the reason I bring up celebrity culture in the society is because we live in it and we're surrounded by it. And all we see is celebrity and ads everywhere. If you're on Amazon, if you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram Live or Instagram, wherever you're looking, there's an ad. If you're on Pinterest, because you still like to scroll through shit like I do sometimes occasionally. Or even if you're on Facebook, you still see it. It's all there. It's on every thing you could possibly be looking at. You're seeing an ad. So let's just be careful with the ads we're seeing so we don't become one. That's it. Let's not become ads. Let's become things that people always want to go back to. This recognition of who you really are. The idea of looking in the mirror and embracing your reflection in the morning and starting off a day saying, yes, you can. Starting off a day saying, I'm never going to give up. And starting off the day saying, why not today? Is a realization that you're a person and you're a human being. You can mess up and you can start again. This is your life to live. That's why there's a mantra that we created together. That's why we've grown in every podcast that we made. This is because I'm trying to change the world. Not with money, because the money's not going to matter soon. It's about what you're actually doing. It's changing the momentum. It's changing the moment. Not with stuff and material items, but mentally. You need to find your self-value and your self-worth, and you can't find that in anybody else and anything else but you in that mirror. I can't be who I was before, following, desperately seeking to fit in with a bunch of people that I'd never fit in with, because I wasn't supposed to fit in with them. I think when I was younger, especially a teenager, I was so desperate to just be one of those girls. And I was pretty and smart and talented, very young. And so because of that, I had a lot of people that were facetious and angry and jealous and envious. And I learned from a young age, friendships don't last forever. And typically people only want to be in your life for a reason, not a season. So now that I'm a bit older and way smarter than I was before, I'm okay with all of that. God gave me the ability to love who I am and not worry about what I'm not. And I hope you can feel that way that I do. Let's be better together, loving ourselves just the way we are. Not trying to honestly, love not being like everybody else. And I guarantee you, being who you really are is going to make a difference. We need to be more who we are. Moving off of the tea, let's get to the main part of this Monday conversation. Is bigger better? In some ways. I do think that you definitely want, like, bigger quality or better quality in items. And I think in some ways bigger is better, because smaller might not be the answer. It depends on what we're talking about. Like, are we talking about shopping, or are we talking about like diamonds? Like, if we're talking about diamonds, clearly bigger is better. But if we're talking about shopping, do you really want to go to a big ass wholesale store and there's only 2 of you? Like, these are things you're going to have to think about. Like, how many pair of shoes do you actually need? Like, sometimes bigger isn't better, but sometimes it is. It depends on the situation. That's the decision you got to make. We know that all that glitters isn't gold, because we try to convince ourselves if we get to the other side, the grass is going to be greener and things are going to work out better. until we get to the other side and we recognize it was all a lie anyway. I have been down that road so many times thinking that all that glitters is a lie. I've convinced myself time and time again that the grass is always greener on the other side, and when I get to that other side, it's brown, and it's all a lie. I stopped doing that. I stopped lying to myself about the grass on the other side. The grass might not be green over there, but I know that it's green here, so I can't trust that the grass will be green on the other side because I have no idea what the fuck is over there, and I really don't want to go see. You got to get out of that mentality. Like, oh my God, it's bright and it's glittery, so it's got to be platinum and gold. Is it platinum and gold? Maybe not. Is it really diamonds or is it cubic zirconium? Right? Is it worth the money or are you getting ripped off? We know that the majority of the shit that people want to say is like beautiful and gorgeous and amazing isn't. And how much time are we going to spend fighting or denying that? That's my question. And I think a pretty good answer or response to that is reality. And the reality is this. All that glitters isn't gold. The grass is never greener on the other side. And I guess the only way you realize that is by going to the other side and recognizing that it was all a lie and it was facetious and it was in your head. Pretending leads to failure because when you pretend, you can't admit the truth. When you can't admit the truth, you're never going to win. You're always going to fail. Because lying is denying, and denying isn't reality, and reality isn't real. It's fake. It's not the truth. The truth will set you free. Lies will keep you in shackles and keep you tied to something that isn't real. And we shouldn't live like that. It's not living. Smart expectations instead of high. Well, smart expectations are like reasonable expectations that aren't like, oh my God, if this doesn't happen at this 89.9% rate, even though we know it's 52%, blah, blah, blah. Just be a little more realistic with the situation you're in instead of having some ridiculous expectation for something that might not exceed the way you want it to. That is all I'd say. Be more realistic than fake. And finally, let's be willing to learn, to live, to love, to fail, to mess up, to try again. That's the only way we live. It's by being human. Not robotic and AI driven, but human. And sure, AI and technology have taken over entirely. But humanity still does exist. We are still here breathing and living with heartbeats and blood in our veins. We are people. And the way we retain that humanity is by willing to be different and learning and trying things again. That's the only way. But following the main part of the conversation, let's get to watching things. So we watched the latest episode of Vanished today, which is pretty entertaining. But I did see that there's going to be a new season of Paradise 2 that looks pretty decent. I'm not sure if we're going to love that or hate it, but I'm willing to try it. That's going to be on Hulu. The Hulu app still hasn't gone away yet, which I'm very happy about. Can we watch TV on YouTube? I don't know. My brother-in-law, Dan, has it, and I guess that's how they get their cable. I don't know if I want to do that, but I'd be willing to try it, but I personally like streamers better, honestly. Do we need the movies? I don't know if we need the movies, because guess what? We can also stream everything at home and just wait for things to become available on streaming versus just at the movie. Depending on what the movie is and when it came out, it's available pretty fast if you have Xfinity or you have any streamer or Amazon or Netflix or Hulu or Paramount Plus or MGM. You can pretty much just wait like a week or two and the shit will be available there. Or even Apple. Like, depending on what it is, it might just go straight to a streamer. You don't even need to see it in a movie theater. You know, it's essential that we really consider, do we want to spend all this money on movies if it's not worth it? Unless it's a movie I actually want to see. I'm not sure I'm going to the movies. I don't know. I want to spend $80 every time I go to movies on some shit that's not worth me going to movies. Like, I was almost going to spend $40 on I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I saw that movie on a plane for work when I was on a Delta flight. And I also watched the new Jurassic Park on there, too. And that was the same thing. Decent. Movie theater price, I don't know. We watched it at home, too. Like, I'm glad I didn't see those movies in a movie theater. I didn't need to. Like, half of these movies with these people that are celebrities and shit, they're not that good. They suck. And they're not really, like, doing what they need to be doing in Hollywood. They went on this fucking strike and they basically ruined movies and they ruined your ability to care. And now TikTok has the ability for you to watch it on there. And YouTube, you can watch an entire movie on there. So I don't really think movies can compete with that. I mean, they're still decent. But a lot of people aren't going to the movies like that. And I don't think that they will be. So there's a new season of Shrinking coming on Apple. Can't wait to see it. Shrinking is one of my fave shows on Apple. Hijack season 2 started. And I got to finish getting caught up with that. The Snoopy show is on Apple too. And there's some new movie called Calls that looks pretty decent. Moving on past the watching to the eating, tonight for dinner we had pizza leftovers from the Super Bowl last night, which was pretty decent. Cane's chicken. I want to try it so badly. Drinking more water because water makes you healthier. You should be drinking like 120 ounces of water a day. I know that seems like a lot, but it really flushes out your system and it's really essential that you do it. Tuna salad or sandwich. I like both for different reasons. I think tuna salad is better for an actual salad, and tuna sandwich is better on like toasty bread. Either way, I'd eat it. I like both. Viral melting cabbage. So basically you take cabbage, you cut it into sections. Then you like make this sauce with heavy cream and I think onions and some sort of like spicy, like I think it was some sort of marinade she put into it, some sort of like olive oil or soy sauce. Then she like diced up chicken and added more of the sauce over the chicken and the cabbage, and she eat it, and it looked pretty decent. I'd be willing to try that. It's some viral dish, so we'll try. Slow cooker barbecue baked beans. Yo, barbecue baked beans are fire, especially with a good hot dog or something. Now we're talking. You can eat that shit any time of the year, the summer, the fall, the spring, the winter, whenever. Now you can do these at home if you got a crock pot, or you can do it in like a one pan, some sort of like good pan. Either way, I think you'd be very happy. Bacon wrapped jumbo shrimp is good too. Honestly, delicious. My friends, thank you for tuning in to this Monday edition of Born to Be a Star. And please remember that you are a star wherever you are. Hello, goodbye, good morning, good night, ciao. Brothers and sisters, you're the beginning, the middle, and the end, omnipresent, just like Jesus Christ, been before and seen everything before. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.